Am I overreacting, or is this a total breach of privacy? Am I the a-hole for wanting to tell my brother's fiance about the tracking app he secretly installed in the new phone he bought for her? Am I overreacting? I feel like a dad at the daycare I work at is hitting on me. Am I the a-hole for showing up to my husband's doctor appointment? To me, there are three different categories of diligent courtship. There's persistence, there's creepiness, and then there's stalking. Persistence is just consistently showing somebody that you are interested in them, but you're not breaking boundaries or rights to privacy. Creepiness, there's probably one instance where you broke some boundaries or their privacy, or you just said something off-colored in a weird setting. Stalking is just consistently showing somebody that, hey, I don't care about your boundaries. I don't care about respecting you, and I'm going to give you obsessive attention. And when you're the one being pursued, it's kind of hard to really know which one of these it falls under. So we're going to read some of these Reddit stories and judge for ourselves. What category are these stories?
And I'm going to try to contain my anger for this whole video because the doctor says these Reddit stories are sending my blood pressure into orbit. So...
Am I overreacting, or is this a total breach of privacy? Quick backstory on this. This uniformed police officer pulled this woman over and said, hey, you've got a low tire. And she was like, oh my God, thank you. And then he left. And a day later, he texted her against her will, getting hit on by a man in uniform. Oh, swoon. Hey, I don't recognize the number. Who is this? This is the officer who pulled next to you to tell you that you had a low tire yesterday. Oh, okay. I mean, thanks again for that, but how did you get my phone number? Lol. This is the number that came up when I searched up your license plate. I figured I would reach out and see if you maybe wanted to get to know each other, possibly go to a dinner sometime. I promise I don't do this often. Ha ha ha. You are just very nice and attractive, of course.
Okay, 148/93. Well, that's not good.
Wow, I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. You're welcome. My name is blank, by the way. All right, let's break this down. He said, I don't do this often, which is basically an implication that he's done this before. I also saw in the comment section that this woman has been to jail very recently. I tend to think that he knows that. He sees that she is vulnerable and maybe more likely to say yes. That fact alone feels predatory and wrong. He also gets straight to the point in the text, which tells me that he's also done this many times before. If you had never done this before, I think you would beat around the bush for a while, or act a little coy or shy or something. But 2 texts in, you already know his intentions, where he got the phone number, everything. He's done it before. So what category is this? He's only done it once to her. I'm gonna say this is creepiness, but it very well could lead into stalking behavior because this is what stalkers do. Am I the a-hole for wanting to tell my brother's fiance about the tracking app he secretly installed in the new phone he bought for her? Pretty much the title. My brother is currently engaged to his fiance. He bought her a new phone for Valentine's, and he asked my boyfriend, who's trained in computer and software, to install a hidden tracking app on the phone, so his fiance won't see it or notice. I overheard them talking, and when I entered the room, they went silent.
Oh, he's got a little elf helping him with his predator ornament. That doesn't affect me at all.
I waited till my brother left, then talked to my boyfriend. He denied having this conversation with my brother first, then admitted to installing the app on the phone. I told him he and my brother were in the wrong because this is a huge breach of privacy. He said he had nothing to do with it and advised me to stay out of it as well. You were doing it. Well, what are you talking about? But I said I wanted to tell my brother's fiance. My boyfriend argued with me about being nosy and intrusive and told me to stay out of it and let them deal with their own issues. But I thought that was unfair to my future sister-in-law since she's the one working, paying bills, and rent, and this is how she's treated. My boyfriend told me to get the F out with this attitude again and again, said I should stay out of it because it does not in any way concern me. What?
I'm having fun. Woo!
I don't know. I feel horrible after hearing about what my brother did, and since I have a good relationship with his fiance, I can't help but feel guilty and wanting to tell her. Am I the asshole for wanting to tell her? It's very obvious that the boyfriend is wrong. You can tell he's done it before because to ask somebody else in the family to help you with this and be confident in it, that's what a stalker does. But the boyfriend of the original poster saying don't get involved, yet he's aiding this dude and spying on his fiance. So in fact, he's actually involved. It makes you wonder about his own morality and what he's doing in your home. You might this lady might come home one day and You know, he's rappelling from the ceiling like a jewel thief and putting CCTV cameras all over the top of the cabinets. I would look very closely at this fella if I were you. Now, before we get into the next story,
Today's video is sponsored by Delete Me.
there have been quite a few of these creepy stalker stories where the victim doesn't understand how their stalker got their personal information. Well, it's because there's some equally creepy folks out there who get a hold of your information, like your address, your phone number, your email, where you work, etc., and they sell this information on the internet. And then these stalkers find it through search engines and data broker sites.
Yuck!
And I personally hate that. I've got a girlfriend and her son to protect, and some people know who I am now, so I had Delete Me remove this stuff for me to help with that. I just submitted my personal information to them. Their experts found it online and got rid of it. And 7 days later, I received a very detailed report about where they looked and what they found. It was really simple. And they do this regularly all year long. So if you too like your privacy and your safety, get 20% off Delete Me consumer plans when you go to joindeleteme.com/pointer and use the promo code Poynter. That is joindeleteme.com/pointer, promo code Poynter.
Now back to the program.
Am I overreacting? I feel like a dad at the daycare I work at is hitting on me. It says she's 20 years old. Why do I get the feeling he's 40? Why do I get that feeling? Hi, I work at a daycare, and I've noticed that one of the children's parents always makes inappropriate comments to me. At first, I thought he was just one of those people who always compliments others, or that he just wanted to have a friendly relationship with his kids' educators, but now I think it's more than that. During my first weeks here, I was always assigned to his younger daughter's group, the babies, so I would see him often. At first, it was brief friendly talk, but it really escalated when I started working with the older kids, 4-year-olds. His other daughter, let's call her Emmy, and I clicked right away when we found out we're birthday twins. She always wants me to play with her and ask for hugs literally every 2 minutes. Whenever her dad comes to pick up his kids, she always makes sure to give me a big hug and tells her dad that we're best friends. Last month, Emmy's dad and I ran into each other at the grocery store and started small talk. We were mostly talking about Emmy, and he just kept saying how much she loves me and that she wants me to come over to their house. I said something like, "Oh, she's so cute. I love spending time with her too," and tried to end the conversation, but he just kept talking. I noticed him looking at my chest a couple of times, which was one of the reasons I wanted to leave. He then offered me a ride, and although I initially declined, he kept pushing it, so I accepted. I didn't let him see my house. I told him to drop me off downtown.
Okay, I'm gonna play my Switch. You guys ever play that power washing game? Very relaxing.
Oh, man. It's literally the same thing Ted Bundy did. Just pick people up in his car, in his little shit yellow car, and take them places in his shit little banana car. Since then, I keep running into him, but to the point where I don't think it's a coincidence. He doesn't live in the same neighborhood as me. I live near downtown. In fact, when he dropped me off the first time, he kept going on and on about how he could never live somewhere as far away as I do. So why do I keep seeing him? In our conversations, he always makes sure to compliment my physical appearance or mention my age and how young and smart I am. It always makes me uncomfortable, but for the sake of his daughters, especially Emmy, I don't really say anything. I have tried to set some boundaries, but it's really uncomfortable. I jokingly said once, "Well, if I were your age, I don't think I'd date someone as young as me." And he was like, "Well, good thing I would," and he laughed.
Well, good thing I can't hear you. You're drowned out by the soothing sounds of my fancy power hose.
What does that response even mean? Well, good thing I would. What are you? The implication is, well, I would, so you don't have a choice. Is that what that means? I casually mentioned this in a conversation with one of my colleagues, and she said something like, "Oh, he's a flirt. That's what he does." She kept talking about how handsome he is. He is handsome, but also a married dad of 2. I asked if there's anything we could do if hypothetically a parent is being too friendly/flirty with us, and she basically said no. Anyway, it gotten hot outside, so I started wearing sundresses, shorts, and crop tops, and he always compliments my outfits when he sees me and says he likes seeing my belly button piercing out. Ew. Also, Emmy has told me her dad said I'll be their nanny for the weekends when the daycare is closed. I don't know if he actually said that because she's 4, but I don't even want to ask because I don't want to give him ideas if he actually didn't say it. He has tried multiple times to give me his phone number to call him if there's anything, and I always gently reminded him that we can communicate through the daycare app. He always says that he would rather call me directly than through the app. He was being super pushy and I felt a little trapped, so I gave him my phone number. No. He texts me all the time, asks what I'm doing, etc. I have FaceTimed his daughters a couple of times, but it just feels wrong. I briefly talked about this to a friend, and she said that she would have told his wife. I don't even think I have the guts to do that. Ever since my friends told me that, I started casually bringing up his wife in conversations. He would always change the subject or say she's not here. Anyway, all this to ask, what should I do? Am I imagining things? I feel trapped. I can't lose my job. I'm scared it'll take me forever to find another one. Also, all the kids love me and I love them. I've really gotten attached to them. I love Emmy too, and I mostly feel bad for her. What would you do in this situation? I've asked, and you can't ban a family from attending a daycare, so that option is out of the window. Also, we can't be on our phones 24/7, so it's extremely hard to get evidence. Anything helps. Thank you. I've never understood the whole, oh, that's what he does. That's what she does. Yeah, I know that's what they do. Tell them to stop now, of course. You don't get to keep doing shit to people just because it's a pattern. Like, I've never understood how that's an excuse. And he is hitting on you, but he knows what he's doing is wrong. And he knows his long-term intentions aren't great either. That's why he's slowly dragging this out to see if you're cool, to see what he can get away with. And if he's repeatedly showing up on the side of town where you are and he lives far away, that's stalking. All right, let's move into the update of this story. I've been trying to pick up the habit of recording every time I leave my classroom or go outside to gather evidence. I forget sometimes, but I really try. I stopped going to the gym because he knows where it is. He also found my new number. I have no idea how. He keeps calling me, so I always have my phone on Do Not Disturb now. On June 18th, he called me 19 times from different numbers with a 647 area code. It used to be 249. I don't have concrete proof it's him, but I can feel it. It's him. It's him. Spammers do not call 19 times a day, which think about that for a second. The guy in a dead office building wearing a 2006 Xbox Live microphone and selling people denture cleaner has more boundary awareness than this guy. So that says some things. I changed my email address, deactivated my Instagram, and made a new one with about 15 close friends. I showed the phone calls to the police, and they told me to send the evidence to an email address they gave me. However, since the numbers keep changing, it's not considered good evidence. They told me to keep trying to find more evidence. Isn't that their job? And to change my number again. I also emailed his ex-wife, telling her that he found my Instagram and new number. We must have missed something because it says ex-wife now. In the previous one, it said just wife. So, predictably, they divorced. She replied with a lengthy email, basically advising me to not respond to him because he's dangerous. She gave me examples of how he used to treat her and the kids. She said he buys their love with toys and that she caught him to their previous nanny's pictures. Ugh. She suggested deleting any photos of me on social media because he might be doing the same with mine. She's been wanting a divorce for a long time, but he keeps dragging it out. He tells everyone he's happily married and still wears his ring. She's terrified for her kids because he always feeds them lies.
Okay, doctor says if you smile, you feel better.
I deleted my Facebook too. I showed my boss the calls, but she didn't seem to care and doubted my concerns. She was like, "Do you really think he's like that? I've known him for years. I promise he's so nice."
Okay, sing something happy. Sing something happy. This is gonna be the best day of my life. My life.
I'm actually considering suing them because I think she finds me stupid. I had a panic attack yesterday because I can't fucking walk without thinking every man behind me is him. I don't know how to sue someone, let alone a workplace, but I'll do my research. Do you really think he's like that? I've known him for years. I promise he's so nice. You know who else has known him for years? His wife, his ex-wife. Do you really think you know him more than her? And if you do, I bought wasp spray, but I don't carry it because knowing myself, I will just freeze up. And what if he ends up using it on me? Ultimately, I think I'm going to move. I'm considering moving to Montreal. I have a friend there and I just want to get away from everything. So I was watching the new Zodiac documentary that's on Netflix that came out a few months ago, something like that. It's all based around the prime suspect of the case. And it interviews the children victims who were subjected to a lot of abuse of the main suspect. These victims' mother consistently said things like, "Oh, he would never harm you. He would never." And just constantly defending him for years and years and years, to the point where as they got older, they started realizing, what the hell, Mom? Why is it so far-fetched to think that he might have something to do with this at this point? Towards the end of her life, she didn't outright defend him, but she said she has a box of something in the shed. And when she dies, open it up and it will explain everything. But don't do it until I'm dead. She died not long after. The grown-up children went into the shed and pulled out a box full of letters that the prime suspect had been sending this mother for years and years and years. And he admitted to the murders in the letter, and the murder weapon was in that box. Your boss is that mother. That's all I'm saying. There's something going on there. Your boss is the Zodiac mom, and this guy is the Zodiac. You don't consistently just defend somebody like this that you don't, from the outside, you don't have like this extreme attachment to. You like, it's not your family member. It's not like your best friend. It's not your brother. When you're just that consistently defending somebody who's so clearly being a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit too. So anyway, next story. Am I the asshole for showing up to my husband's doctor appointment? My husband has been dealing with some health issues in the past few weeks and has been frequently visiting the doctor. I asked if I could go with him, but he refused, saying it wouldn't be necessary, and when I asked why he wouldn't want me with him, he said he felt more comfortable having privacy with his doctor. I jokingly asked if his doctor was a woman, and he glanced at me. I anticipated his next doctor appointment and decided to go meet him there. He went, and 10 minutes later, I entered the office. I identified myself as his wife, and he was shocked when he saw me. I greeted his doctor, a man, lol, and we talked, but my husband refused to even look my way and refused to speak as well. Even though I am angry at the decaying state of humanity and my inability to change it, I deeply love and respect myself. Even though I am angry. We left the office together and he went off on me in the car saying I shouldn't have followed him and came into the doctor's office after he asked me for some privacy. I said it was all right. I'm his wife. I already even know what his issues are and just wanted to show support. He said I overstepped his one boundary and refused to respect his wish and made him more stressed than he already is in these hard times he's going through. I thought he overreacted, but am I the asshole? Even though I am angry at the decaying state of humanity and my ability... Okay, I can't! You idiot! I have a few thoughts. Number one, you didn't just want to support. You broke a boundary because you thought the doctor was a female and you got insecure and you went up there. Number two, it wasn't necessary to even show up in the first place. He's not a toddler. You're not dating a boy with a little baby bottle. No, he's a grown man. And his reaction of stonewalling you makes me think you've done this many times before. And I don't know why, but that it was a man, lol, pisses me off a little bit because, you know, like you can't just lol at that. My crazy behavior was all for nothing. I'm going to say this is stalking. And this is what happens when you keep stalking. You might get a bow-tied judge screaming in your face. Click the box in the top left and keep watching. And thank you again to Delete Me for sponsoring this video. If you are actively trying to avoid a creep right now and you want to get your data removed, visit the link in the description and get 20% off.